remember at the end of the season where I said I think the Lions are going to win a championship now. So I came into this season with, I know that the Lions are going to win a Super Bowl under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. I know that to be true. That is a fact in my brain. Then after they lost to Washington, I moved Braylon to, I think they're going to win a Super Bowl, but I'm not so certain anymore.
Yeah.
After 48 hours of this negotiating period, I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl under this current state right now. Again, I think it can happen, but I'm over 50% now in my Super Bowl meter that is going back and forth. My Super Bowl meter was once here at 100. Then it was about 60%. They're going to win, I think, but I'm not really sure. Now it's at about 25%.
Oh.
My Super Bowl meter is about 25% as it stands right now with the information that we have right now. Because I don't believe, and I've said this before, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I do not believe you can draft your way to a championship. I just don't believe it. I don't see a team that doesn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. And sorry for the Jared Goff lovers out there. He is not a Hall of Fame quarterback. He just isn't. Maybe he'll have a bunch of numbers one day. I don't know. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. I have yet to see a team without a Hall of Fame quarterback build some incredible team to the point where you make no big splashes, no free agent signings, no big trade splashes, and draft your way to a Super Bowl. I have yet to see it. If history is any indicator, the Lions will not win a Super Bowl. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
I'm nervous as hell, and you guys know that, and everyone calls me Debbie Downer. I'm just looking at it like, and I keep bringing up history. They never made it to the Super Bowl, so we'll start there. These guys have done a great job of turning this vagabond team into a perennial contender. And the Lions will be perennial contenders. But like Ryan said, can they take it off the sheet? When bowling, can you take it off the sheet? Can you throw a 300 game? Can you throw 12 strikes? It's hard. It's very hard. So you look at this team as it is, and we know they're one of the most talented teams in the league. Sure, there's a couple of parts that they have to change eventually. It's like any kind of car. When a car starts to go, you have to start changing the parts. You're not going to be able to keep all these players that we love. We just lost Ife Melifonwu, one of my favorite guys here.
He was nice on the edge.
1 year, $4 million. They didn't want him. They let Carlton Davis go. They saved $4 million a year by signing DJ Reed. $4 million a year they saved off of what Davis would have gotten. So with that just 1 year of $4 million, could he have kept Melifonwu? To me, he was a guy, and they say he gets injured. All you do is bring injured guys in here. All you do is bring injured guys in here. Don't make me raise my voice again. Marcus Davenport, he never stayed on the field for about 50% of his career. He has not been on the field. He's been in the NFL for 8 years. He's been in the NFL hardly playing in those 8 years. And you bring him back. And then you sign practice squad guys. Oh, yeah, we signed this guy. Oh, yeah, we signed this guy. And then you paid $8 million to bring in, what's his name? Barnes. Derek Barnes. I like Derek Barnes. I do. They like their own guys. So if we think they could win with these guys, then we're all good. But I don't know, because everything around them is getting a lot better. And I mean a lot better. The teams around them are getting a lot better. And yeah, you say I always bring up the Bears. Yeah, I know they're the vagabond Bears. You know what? They've been to a few Super Bowls, and they won one. And they have a good coach. We believe that this guy, Ben Johnson, will be a good head coach. At least I think he will be. We might hate him for jumping to the Bears 36 hours after we lost to Washington, but he is building there. And we're going to go over all these teams. The Vikings are building. The Packers didn't make any moves. The Lions, I'm going to say, didn't make a move. They washed. Lost Carlton Davis, brought in the other guy. So I'm with you, Ryan. I don't know if this team could get to the promised land.
Where are you, Bray?
Let me start here. The DJ Reed move. I like DJ Reed. If you remember me saying last week when I knew they were going to move on from him, I didn't say here, so I'd be lying if I said bring him here. But I said he's going to be a nice piece for somebody. I said he's an excellent DB, and as you look at him over the last 3 years, his numbers start to mirror Sauce Gardner. Actually, was even better than Sauce Gardner's 2 years ago.
He did lead the league in penalties, though.
True.
Pass interference.
I'm just saying he's a nice DB. He's a good D.
5'9".
With that being said, you have every right to feel the way you feel. Like 3 years ago, in terms of what the Lions did and how they took off 12-5, or 2 years ago, 12-5, and you thinking all the draft picks, and then how things popping in this year, 15-2, you win the NFC. You just think it's ascension, but then you see the injuries, you see what happens against the Washington Commanders, and then you're like, all right, well now it's time to make a move this offseason. Now it's time to reshore that defensive line, and they don't. They don't make a move. They don't make a splash, and it would be one thing if no one's making splashes, but your division just got so much better. The Chicago Bears, you talked about, they got 3 offensive linemen and 2 defensive linemen, and it's the interior. They
and
know,
a long snapper.
They know what they know what. Oh shit. They know what the Lions are, and that's what the teams are now going after, trying to become in the NFC. So I don't know. I formulate that thought.
And again, I was in the chat yesterday for the first hour of the show.
Yeah,
I was on the plane.
You're on a tarmac?
Yeah, I was on the tarmac because traveling is such a great experience these days.
So
another
plane. By the way, I thought I was going to die.
Did you bump into
on
another
my
plane?
last plane ride.
Right.
That's
What's
how
that,
bad
Pete?
it was.
Did you bump into another plane while taxiing?
Thankfully we didn't do that, but I was in the chat yesterday, and I think Stick was right. Stick made the point. I'll give him credit for it. It was, okay, you lost Carlton Davis. You gained DJ Reed. It's cornerback 1 for cornerback 1. Carlton Davis played a really good, dare I say, great cornerback for you last year. You're expecting to get that same production from that same position this year with Reed. The names on the back change. The production probably will be similar. So you're not gaining anything there.
Right.
You didn't get better at all there. At all. And this idea of Marcus Davenport, okay, Marcus Davenport hasn't played in 3 years. Mm-hmm. I don't care about the contract. You could have signed him for $1. I don't contracts. I care about good players on the field for me, performing and being a piece that this team could depend on to get to the Super Bowl. Marcus Davenport last year, 2 games. Marcus Davenport 2 years ago, 4 games. Marcus Davenport, in his 7-year career, has played over 14 games 1 time. Do you anticipate Marcus Davenport to be available for the Detroit Lions? There are 17 games in a season, not including playoffs. Do you expect him to be on the field for you in 14 games? I'm giving you 3 games off.
The answer is no. The answer is no, and I lost my train of thought when I was doing this the first time around. Welcome back. It's the moves that you keep seeing like this. Like you said, the injured player, bringing Emmanuel Mosley back, bringing Davenport back when he didn't do it last year, and that's what his career. It's consistent moves. Derek Barnes, yes, you drafted him. He's a piece 4 years ago. Purdue, congratulations. But is this a move that is going to make you a better team? I don't think it has. I think you've seen a bunch of teams get better by getting players, all-pro, Pro Bowlers, etc., that can play, that they know are going to help their franchises get to the next level, whatever level that is for them. The Lions seems like the moves that they're making, Maz, is, well, we draft well and we're pretty good, so, well, we hope this can get us there. They're playing from a place of optimism versus going out there and actually doing something. I think that's the problem right now that I have with it, and it's been the problem that I've had with it, and now it's coming to fruition yet again because here we are. This division has – I'm just so tired of hearing about the Vikings. I'm so tired of hearing about the Chicago Bears. Like, at some point, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. You're getting worse.
Status quo ain't the way to go. They didn't make it to the Super Bowl, so why you're trotting out the same team?
That's the problem I have an issue with. If
22 injuries, I get it.
True, but if you get to the Super Bowl, then it's like, all right.
Okay.
It's okay. Even if you get to the NFC Championship like you did 2 years ago, okay. You lost.
And you got
your ass whooped.
Yes.
That's the part.
By the way, the super chat,
the
Pete.
fire.
Let's put up the rules of our
I'm back.
super
My
chat.
apologies.
Yep, you got it, buddy.
Our guy B. Martin, who won yesterday. Matter of fact,
Yeah,
he might have
B.
won.
Martin
He
is
might have won
rolling.
2 days in a row.
That's what I'm-
Let's go.
He's like, my Super Bowl meter is low as well. Everyone around us getting better. The Lions sitting on their hands, not making any key additions or addressing our weaknesses. And we've told you the weaknesses. You guys know it. It's rushing the passer.
So let me
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me just say this, because I know the question is out there. Well, who do you want to get?
Right.
And the answer to that question is, I don't know. That is not my job. That is not my job. Did anybody out there in the world think that Joe Tooney was available from the Kansas City Chiefs?
Nope.
No.
But you know what? The Chicago
Ryan
Bears.
Poles and the Chicago Bears identified that player in that contract as somebody that they went to go get.
That they needed.
They needed that player. They looked around the league. They investigated. He was not a player that was up for grabs. He was not a player that Kansas City was so eager to get rid of. But Chicago did their due diligence, did some homework, made a call, and got a deal done to get a player that was not available. Not only not available, ultimately he's a new starting guard, or starting center for the guard for the Chicago Bears. That is how it's done.
And at the end of the day, look, we understand you don't want them to spend money. You want them. You love that they have cap space. You love the fact that they built through the draft. But everybody else is finding a way to find these players. At some point, you have to change the strategy. What you've done, you got to evolve. And I think that's what teams are doing. That's what the Detroit Lions need to do, is evolve. You got to find these players that are 1 year's coming up, unrestricted free agents, things of that nature. You got to ask questions, and do your due diligence.
I'll tell you this, guys. I realize the Lions, they have better players than a lot of teams. They probably have better players than 24 teams. So, I get that. We already have started with let's say a stacked deck. But now you have to look. You have 60-some-odd million you had in cap space. And everyone wants to sign Aiden Hutchinson right away. I don't want to pay him this year. I want him to play. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Let him play. He's not going anywhere. Spend that money to put someone on the other side. And I thought that person was Zadarius Smith. And I guess they didn't like Zadarius Smith. They could have had him for a $2 million bonus, plus I don't remember what he was going to make this year. It wasn't much of anything. And again, they went cheap on the cornerback. They went Reed over Davis. They saved $12 million in 3 years. These guys, all they do is save money. I don't understand their plan. Like Ryan said, their plan is, we know what we're doing. We're the smartest guys in the room. We've already looked at the draft. We're picking 28th, coming up in April. I think it's 44 days to go till the draft. We're going to pick 2-3 guys that we're going to put right onto this team. Last year, they rolled the dice on a bunch of players. They did. They moved up in the third round, lost a couple of picks. They got, what's the kid? Giovanni Manu. He is a guy that's a work in progress.
Is it too late to say that they tried to do something too much last year, Maz?
Maybe they thought they had it, and they're going to take a chance and be the smartest guy in the room. And I was one of those. I wanted Manu. I heard he's almost 7 foot tall. He's 350, yet he moves around like a freaking linebacker, and he's your offensive lineman. I wanted them to take a chance, and here we are. They did get Christian Mahogany out of that draft, which I believe will be good. A couple of years ago, Broderick Martin and Corby Sorsdahl, they don't look like they're working out. There's a few other players that aren't working out. The Josh Pascals of the world, and he's dealt with some illness and stuff like that. But again, they're rolling out the same team. So this is the team that won 15 games last year, minus a few players that they're going to lose. They're rolling the dice again. They're not going to win 15 games, and that's okay.
And that's fine.
That's okay. Yeah. They got to win their division and hopefully get a playoff game at home, and then try to run the table.
Can I just say they had injured players last year crowd? What if they get injured players this year?
Yeah.
You think they're going to go clean through the year? You're confident that Aiden Hutchinson is just going to be back to 100% and he's going to be NFL Defensive Player of the Year caliber Aiden Hutchinson right off the bat? You're confident in that? You're confident that this team will suffer no injuries this year? You're confident of that? I'm just saying that you've got to take advantage when the opportunity presents itself. And boy, oh boy, the Lions blew 2 opportunities to get their Super Bowl. And it appears, as of right now, this moment, with the information that we have as of this moment, the teams are just blowing by them. And we're going to talk about some of those teams. But I do think that the Lions are in trouble here when it comes to being not only a top 5 team in the NFL. I think that is – I don't believe they're a top 5 team in the NFL. They are hanging on to be a top 5 team in the NFC. Top 5 team in the NFC.
The window used to be wide open.
Yeah,
but it's closing. It's closing. Maybe if they turn around and they go out and get Trey Hendrickson, maybe I'd feel a little bit better. Because you must improve that defensive line. And don't tell me you're going to draft a guy and he's going to start. It ain't going to happen.
And again, please, let me just make this one point.
Go ahead.
You're telling me you're going to run back with an offensive line that Aiden Hutchinson broke his leg in half, Aleem McNeil with an ACL, Josh Pascal who can't stay on the field,
Onwuzurike bad back, which he's a free agent. We don't even know where he's going, and Davenport. That is Davenport, who hasn't played basically in 3 years. He's not playing.
Right.
That is what you're counting on. Just check it.
Yeah, the conversation for the people that are talking about the injured players, what do you say, what if we bring in more injured players? Is that what the question was? The problem is the players that we already brought in were injured, and now they're injured again, and now they're staying injured. Out of all the players that we brought in, how many of them have been injured players before that are injured yet again, and some for the 3rd time with the Detroit Lions? So, I mean, that's one of the issues right now. But we shall see, because this period is not over. There will be moves made, and this conversation is basically acting out of the fact that they haven't made a move till now.
Super Chat Burn hitting us again. Then he says, I guess we shouldn't even bother. We're cursed forever. If we pay big bucks for a free agent, he'll get injured stepping off the plane. I'm not sure if Burn is laughing at us or with us, but maybe
Here's the deal.
Hey, look, the curse ain't lifted yet, guys.
Here's the deal.
It's not.
We went 4 years without criticizing Brad Holmes. Basically a solid 3 years. Let's say that. We went 3 full years.
And then the red flags we ignored, too.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
There were 3 full calendar years where we went and did not make one criticism of Brad Holmes. It is very rare in professional sports, not only in the NFL, but in professional sports, to have a head coach or a GM go completely unchecked. It's like the goo goo gaga, you're the greatest thing in the world. Let Brad cook. No criticism
so sick of
whatsoever.
that statement.
No criticism was allowed. I think the time is getting to a point where you can begin to question some of these moves. I think it's appropriate.
Yes, it is.
And that's where I stand.
And I think, too, now that it's happened this way, because it will go the opposite way again. Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. Dan Campbell, we still believe in these individuals, so it will turn the tide for sure. But just for certainly moving forward, when we see something, we got to call it out. And I think when you see something moving forward, when there's a second-round pick that you continuously struggle on, when there's injured players that you continuously bring on, things like that, I think we can call them out a little earlier than wait till it all hits the fan. This isn't really hitting the fan, but you get what I'm saying. As opposed to wait till now.
You don't think that Milton Williams or Josh Sweat would have helped this team? And I know they got overpaid. Everyone's getting overpaid.
That's what happens.
That's what
it's
happens.
free agency. Oh, yeah, that's how it's going to be.
Yeah. And supposedly, this class of free agents wasn't the greatest class